Welcome back to the Top Shelf, my Criterion review series. My name is Ernest Whiteman III. I'm a Northern Rebel filmmaker, artist, writer, and media educator. And we're taking a look at the top shelf of my media collection, which includes my Criterion collection, both DVDs and Blu-rays. I think it would be kind of cool to sort of like get the laser discs that sort of like started the Criterion collection. For anybody who knows the history, Criterion started out as an offshoot of Genesis Films, which was sort of like a storehouse, an archive of classic films from around the world, who would sometimes showcase them in screenings and film festivals. Then when the new medium of digital video came out, Criterion was created to sort of like put these out on Blu-ray in the best high quality ever at the time, including features and commentaries and all that. In fact, they started that game, so when DVDs finally came out, all of the studios caught up to them and started putting commentaries and extras on the Blu-rays. Moving forward, I have a double today, a 2-for, or 2-for-1, and that is the collected martial arts films, or wuxia films, or whatever you want to call them. Wuxia, I think, is more historical, so I want to say kung fu films by Johnnie To. And that is so on the top shelf because there's a resurgence in Johnnie To's filmography, which I think is pretty cool. I enjoyed Takedown very much, and I'll be honest, I've heard of one of these, but I didn't hear of the other. And of course, I'm talking about the Heroic Trio and Executioners, a duology starring the great Michelle Yeoh, the fantastic Maggie Cheung, and the effervescent Anita Mui, the golden three of Hong Kong cinema in the 80s. Of course, they play superheroes with superpowers that, I think Michelle Yeoh's character starts out as a villain who becomes a good guy. Then in the second one is set in a post-apocalyptic setting where all three are trying to survive in that world, having the powers that they do. Of course, again, I have the unopened Blu-ray, and I'm looking forward to watching these. Of course, I've heard of the Heroic Trio, but what's interesting about that is I first heard about the Heroic Trio when I was getting into John Woo in the late, early to mid-90s is when I started to sort of like get into the films of John Woo, and John Woo's The Killer, and of course Hard Boiled, Bullet in the Head, that classic trio of films that, considered the pinnacle of Hong Kong action cinema. But I heard tell of the Heroic Trio, but as interestingly enough, as one of the worst films ever made. So that's when I first heard about it. I mean, it's garnered favoritism or a favorable outlook. It's considered a cult classic. I haven't seen it. I've seen people review it and say it's a fun movie. So I'm not one to rush to judgment. I'm just telling you, when I first heard of the Heroic Trio, it was as one of the worst films out there. So just to show you that opinions change over time, what people think of as garbage in one generation sees something akin to art or something akin to fantasy, escapism. So it's basically how we view these things over time. Like films like Seven Samurai will always be considered, one of the greatest films of all time. But something will build over time to people will suddenly overlook it, and for some reason, a film isn't popping into my head because all the films that I really loved, I sort of don't like anymore. And I'm not going to go into that here, but let's break out the glasses and see what's in this double kit. These Blu-ray editions include the Heroic Trio from 1993, 88 minutes in color with mono sound in Cantonese with English subtitles, 1:7:8 aspect ratio. You will get bars at the top and the bottom. Executioners is also from 1993. I believe these were made back to back. This one is 97 minutes, mono color Cantonese with English subtitles, same aspect ratio that you see. Special features include 4K digital restorations of both films. That's freaking fantastic. With uncompressed monaural soundtracks, alternate English dubbed and 5.1 Cantonese soundtracks. Are you a sub or are you a dub? Live your life, enjoy both, or don't enjoy both. It's your choice. New interviews with actor Anthony Wong. New interview with film critic Sam Dingen, co-host of the podcast Twitch of the Death Nerve. Includes trailers, new English subtitle translations, plus an essay, of course, the requisite essay by Beatrice Loyaza, if I'm pronouncing that right. But I'm really looking forward to this. I did enjoy, like I said before, Takedown, which is another sort of martial arts film of his. And I heard crazy things about how goofy this is and how great it is. So notwithstanding of how I first heard of it, I'll see if I enjoy these or not. And then maybe I'll do like a recap like I did. We are coming up on 100 episodes pretty soon. And I'm pretty proud of that fact. I didn't think we'd get this far with this one. But thank you for hanging in there. I appreciate your time, your comments, your views. Feel free to leave a comment, whether you disagree with me or not, whether you like me or not. It's all relevant. Spine numbers. 1207 for the Heroic Trio, and of course 1208 for Executioners. So that's on the top shelf today. Thank you for joining me and listening to my ramblings, and I will catch you next time.